Hey friend, welcome back to my garden. If you're new here, my name is Jen. I do cooking, canning, and food preservation videos every Tuesday, and I do vlogs every Friday. If that's the sort of content you're into, I hope you'll consider subscribing and sticking around. Today I'm going to take you on a tour. This will probably be the last tour of what I have going on right at the moment. The gardening season is kind of winding down to an end for me. I've only planted determinate tomatoes, and so far I've only done one flush of green beans. So I'm just going to start by picking some cucumbers that probably should have been picked a couple of days before this, but they were still good. We still ate them. We always get cucamelons. That'll probably go on till the very end of the summer. I do have a little bit of disease on my cucumber plants, but it's not bad enough yet that I feel the need to rip them out. So I think I'm just going to let them go for a little while and see what happens. If I notice that the vines are really starting to die back really bad, I'll probably go ahead and tear them out. But for now, they're all right. They're still making cucumbers, so I'm going to leave them alone and let them do their thing. In fact, there's a lot of new growth on this cucumber plant. It has started to spread out and kind of grab a hold of my pepper plants that you see here. I really probably need to get in there with a pair of scissors and trim the cucumber vines off. You can see there's a baby cucumber there hanging on my pepper plant. Um, they're not strangling the peppers out necessarily, but I don't want them to get choked out where they don't get any sunlight, because I know these peppers will probably give me peppers all the way to the end of the summer. In fact, my poblano pepper plant has started to grow some more peppers, and I have some more mystery peppers down on the other end of the bed that I'm not quite sure what they are just yet. That plant hasn't put anything on all summer, so I'm crossing my fingers that might actually be jalapenos. That's what they were supposed to be. But, even if these banana peppers just say, I'm done, I'm over it, I'm okay with that too. I've harvested a lot of banana peppers this year. I've already managed to can up quite a bit, and I have another batch ready to be canned. So, something's better than nothing at all, even if it wasn't maybe what you intentionally planted. But as you can see, these plants are just loaded with peppers. So I think the plan as it stands right now is this bed that has the pepper plants and the cucumber plants. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to weed it. It needs weeded really badly, but I'm going to leave the plants as they are and see what happens with them. They will not be included in the tear out that's coming this next week. I have my husband home right now, and so I'm going to take advantage of having an extra set of hands to help me in the garden. And the next vlog, you will see us kind of tearing out the tomatoes and the cherry tomatoes and the massive bunch of spoon tomatoes that took over an entire end of my garden. Um, but this bed, I think, for the most part, I'm just going to leave it alone. And at the end of the growing season in the fall, I will just go ahead and cut all these plants out, top off the beds, and get them ready to go for next year. Now, these are my green beans. I said in the last vlog that they were pretty much done. Some of these have rust on them really bad. This, in fact, was the last harvest I got off of all of these green bean plants. So in the tear out, I'm going to go ahead and cut all of these off. And since they're diseased plants, I'm not going to put them in my compost pile. I'm going to add them to a burn pile. I don't want to add any fungus or diseases to my compost. And once I get this bed all emptied, I'm going to top it off with some fresh soil. I'm going to amend it with some blood meal and some bone meal, maybe some fertilizer. And then I think I'm going to just put kale and lettuce in that bed. Now this center bed, this metal raised bed, my okra has just started to take off. So I don't think I'm gonna mess with the okra. I think I'm just gonna leave it alone. I know okra really likes this time of year, the heat of the summer. So as long as it's producing, I'm gonna leave it. And you can see there's a lot of little baby okras on here. A couple of days later, there was just a ton of new flowers. So yeah, I'm going to leave the okra. I'm going to probably leave the snapdragons and any of the flowers, like the straw flowers that are still putting on flowers, but everything else I'll cut out. Now my tomatoes are done. I planted Ruby Monster tomatoes, which is a determinate variety, And I never got them trellised up. If you're new here, hi, these are my chaos tomatoes. But you can see that they're done. Uh, Lots of disease in these tomato plants. I'm actually finally starting to get some pest pressure. So on the day that I filmed this, I said, well, I'm going to just go ahead and harvest everything that's worth harvesting off of this, and we're going to be done with tomatoes for the season. So the next vlog after this one will be when we're ripping these tomato plants out. And again, since the tomato plants are diseased, I am not going to compost them. I'm going to put them in the burn pile. And as far as this bed here goes, I haven't quite decided yet. I may just top it off with fresh soil, like the green bean bed, and see if maybe I can plant another succession of green beans. The contender green beans, it says it's 45 days to harvest, and we're in mid-August now, and we have a really long growing season here. So I think if I go ahead and I get some in now, I might get one more good run of green beans before it gets too cold and it kills the plants. But as you can see here, I'm getting a whole lot of tomatoes off of these, even though I just kind of let them run amok and do their own thing. I'm very pleased with my tomato harvest this year. Tomatoes were definitely a win. Some of them are kind of ugly, but you know what? They still eat. It's okay. But I did bring all of these in the house, and they are not going to go to waste. And even though I'm sad to see the summer garden go bye-bye, in the next vlog you'll see us setting up for the fall garden. So things are going to look a whole lot different then. And we're going to be trying some new things this fall. So I just want to say thanks for joining me in my garden. And until next time, friends, happy gardening.